He was like the cleverest man in Britain at the time. And a fair play, he was clever. He's smart. He's the one who worked out how your eyes see colours. I mean, that's not bad, is it? Fair play, isn't it? You know, why does that look red and that look blue? You know, how does your eye know? Brilliant, right? And there's all sorts of things, like how do you medicate children? You know, if the dosage for an adult is this, how do you work out the dosage for a child? There's loads of Young's laws and Young's things about light, medicine. Absolute genius of his time, okay? So he was the man. So what we had, hieroglyphs just become a big thing. 1798, Napoleon has lost yet another army, this time in Egypt. That's the first one he lost. And he's naffed off, and they left there, okay? So am I getting the hurry up from Mali? No, I think we're alright for a few minutes. Right, so what we got is a big obsession with hieroglyphs. So everyone wants to be the first to crack it, okay? I'll tell you something now, I was going to say, I'll just say briefly, because it is important what we're talking about as well. The guy on the left, Champollion, Jean-Francois Champollion, the master, the genius, he had, where do you think his training was, or his idea came from, that he knew how to read hieroglyphs and that the language was Coptic? It shocks people, this does. When he was 11 years old, he had a dream. No, that's it. There's no follow-up to it. He turned up Coptic and he'd seen a few hieroglyphs and he dreamt one night, that was it. That's the whole basis of modern Egyptology. His 11-year-old dreamt it. It's madness, isn't it? How mad is that? So he spent his whole life trying to prove it. It's tragically short life. A lot of these people have short lives, which is interesting in itself, by the way, but don't want to get into that weird theory I've got. But he's, so by the time he's a clever guy, by the time he's like 14, 15, he was the world's leading expert in Coptic, which is a weird thing to be an expert in, because no one actually knew how to speak it. But he's made himself an expert. And I have some sympathy for him here, because the revolutionary wars are starting in France. He's middle class, he's going to be drafted in, he's going to be cannon fodder for Napoleon. But he said to Napoleon, what? You don't need to be a soldier, I'm a genius. I've worked out how to read hieroglyphs. Oh, that's brilliant. He promised Napoleon personally. So it's kind of tough to turn around at some point. Hey, you know that idea I had? Guess what? It's not working out. You know, sorry about that. Off you go, son. You're fighting in the Russian campaign. I just want to say one thing about Napoleon. It's like side issue, because a little bit trivia is good, isn't it? The military genius. Do you know he's the only commander I can think of? Most commanders, if they lose a big battle, lose an army, they get executed or kicked out or something. All right? Napoleon lost his first army in Egypt and naffed off and got himself home safely. He lost his second army in Russia, supposed to be 500,000 or 1 million men, and naffed off and got home safely. And he lost a third army after the Battle of Waterloo and got home safely. The supposed military genius lost 3 complete armies and is still considered a hero and a genius. Bizarre.